Hi guys, it's Michele and today we're gonna have a look at the Peashooter. This is the first American aircraft that you're gonna have in the tech tree, and it's gonna basically teach you that every American aircraft is based on energy fighting. Basically, very little American aircraft, very few number of American aircraft have a capability to turn fight. So forget about that. Even the high tier Bearcats have problems when turn fighting against certain aircraft. So don't ever rely on turn fighting with the American USA aircraft. They are basically armed with machine guns, and this is the Peashooter as well. So let's start. Peashooter, the only one difference between the premium and the regular reserves is in this aircraft, which has one big machine gun and one little machine gun. The flight characteristics are the same: 377 kilometers, 18 seconds of turn time, and 12 seconds for the rate of climb, which is of course relative based on your own preferences, position, airspeed, and all this little stuff. But I totally suggest that you fly and be above the enemy with this thing, because if you are below it, you are basically a target. Now, this aircraft can dogfight with only the monoplanes from the Germans or maybe some Russians. Basically, those are your main targets, but the Japanese can easily outturn this monoplane, even the Japanese monoplanes. So don't be so hasty to go into turn fights with this thing. Keep it as an energy fighter. Now, this thing has the drawback, as I said before. You have two machine guns. They are placed in the nose, but those are 7.62mm machine gun, which don't have much of punch. So you need to get close and basically aim for those weak spots like engine cooling and all this stuff. And luckily you can do that because your machine guns are mounted in the front of your nose, so you don't have to worry about the convergence rate. Anyway, when you upgrade this thing, I totally recommend that you go for the radiator, compressor, engine and fuel cellage, and basically the flight dynamics. I always go for that. Then my secondary options are the belts, and the ammo and the guns, if there are any, and the rockets and the bombs. I don't ever use bombs on this thing. Bombs are the last thing that you're gonna use on a fighter. For the Peashooter, you have a stealth and universal basically. If you're already bad at stealth aiming, use universal belt, because the other two are basically useless in most cases. And okay, this is my talk about this thing in the garage. Let's see the battle so I can narrate that. And I said before and I say it again, with USA aircraft you climb. Why? Because it's rarely an option when you're gonna have fun in dogfights. Usually you do something like go up, use your altitude, use your speed, and pounce on the enemy. Rarely you're gonna do a turn fight. And in this game I'm gonna actually show to you rarely when you're gonna do a turn fight, but when you are actually gonna use the USA aircraft to do pouncing on the enemy. Remember one thing, don't go low altitude with the USA airplanes. This game is gonna be an exception and not the rule. Now when I spoiled it to you, I hope that you are gonna enjoy the rest of the game. And now, let's start. There is a couple of enemy fighters in the horizon. When you go with a fighter on the enemy bomber, you're gonna count on two things. First is gonna be the enemy bomber gunners, and second is the enemy fighter that's coming to save the bomber. So basically you're fighting two aircraft against one from this very start. So don't actually try to force it head on or be below the enemy, because in those two situations you are just sitting duck. So if you have an enemy that's above you and you are certain that you can outrun it, nosedive and basically run. Run, get the better position, re-engage, and that's your main point when you're fighting with an energy fighter. Energy fighter can be also a BF-109 on the German team. And as you can see, one of my guys actually he has a taste for BF-109s, and that guy is gonna be a hell of a support in this game. So basically he's gonna harass, I'm just gonna pick where he started and finish off what he cannot finish. Or at least with the things that he's having problems with. Now, I'm gonna leave that guy to him, because he's much more maneuverable, he has an edge on him, and it's just a matter of time until he destroys him, and in the meantime I'm gonna back up the other guys that are down to the deck. And I don't agree with these low altitude turn fights, but when they appear, use your speed to get on 6 of the enemy fighter aircraft, and destroy them. Now, I was talking before about using the advantages of your aircraft. That enemy 109 is gonna use his advantages, definitely. He's gonna go in, destroy one of our guys, and he's gonna punch out using the speed of his aircraft. Even if I am from the dive, I'm having problems keeping up with him. So I'm trying to get for the targets of opportunity, and the targets of opportunity try to go for me. So I avoid a head-on, try to stick to the enemy 109 with the boosts and all the stuff, but the enemy 109 just is blazing ahead. Even if I'm doing some speculative fire, I can only do some light damage at best. So I'm switching targets to the enemy HE, which is on my left side, and he's low flying and he thinks he's safe, but as you can feel it right now, his engine doesn't feel so good, and I'm actually turning around to get him, and he's almost done. Plus he has another guy on his 6, I avoid the tree, he doesn't avoid the tree, and he ends up sleeping with squirrels. That's one guy down, and this is the second HE-112. Oh, he was close. Just need to avoid him and turn around and get him in front of me. As said before, this thing is not a turn fighter, and the only reason that I'm turning at the moment is that I have backup. And as you see by the tracers, we have that Ki-43, which is definitely a very excellent aircraft. That's a premium USA plane, basically a Japanese captured plane. And with Japanese there is one thing. If you see them flying on the enemy team, on the low tiers, focus them down as well with Chaikas, because those things are OP as hell. So yeah, they don't focus him down and he remains in the game to harass them, as well as I do. And it's a couple of bad shots, some speculative shooting. At the end I managed to get enemy one fellow on fire, and that's my second enemy destroyed. Of course I have two enemy HEs in front of me, and I'm going to go on the second guy, because two of them are actually flying in pair this time. One is backing up the other, and they're gonna split right now. Kai is gonna go for the leader, and I'm gonna go for the guy that has Pyromaniac on his nickname. So I'm going for the second guy. And basically, you don't have to be in the TeamSpeak, you don't have to be in a platoon or a squad. Just by judging by the situation, you can easily switch the targets and go for the other aircraft without any problems, without need to talk about your moves, because they are obvious in the air combat. And now I'm going for the enemy engine, and there is a bit of smoke, and he bugs out, he doesn't continue to follow our KI, and KI is now on the free, and this guy is definitely noticing me and maybe cursing his luck, because at the moment I'm trying to get him, get some shots on him, and of course he's gonna sleep with squirrels because his wing just got a tree. And there is the Dornier that I noticed on my left side. He's going at me and I'm avoiding this guy. I have 300 MGs, and as I said before, yeah, I don't have much firepower to take out a bomber, and I can only do something like to go for the critical commands on the tail, all the flaps, or the engine itself. So I'm firing at him. He switches for the gunner view, but there is a problem. He cannot steer properly and fire at me properly at the same time, and he's at low altitude, so my damage goes a bit in, and he loses control and goes into trees. Yeah, this is my 4th kill, by the way. Reserve aircraft with 4 kills, but that guy in the KI-43 definitely helped me out a bit, so big shout out to that dude. And because the enemy didn't focus him down, we were easily able to turn this game into our advantage, even though at the start we did have some problems by losing a lot of our aircraft. So before I go to land, I go for the AI kills. Need to take these things out because I want to have a clear sky once I've engaged the last enemy aircraft that's left on the battlefield. 1 AI down, 2nd one to go, and now I'm gonna go back to base, and I'm actually gonna have some problems with landing, before you believe it or not. I'm gonna overshoot just a bit, and to be honest with you, barely land. I'm gonna show you when I land actually. So, couple of minutes after this thing, as you can see, my countdown is there, but I was just missed the airfield on the left side from the houses, and I'm lucky that I'm even repairing at the moment. Couple of minutes later, I'm above, and the enemy 109 doesn't appear to be camping the AA guns, but I think the AA guns are OP, and they are encouraging too much of the spawn camping and spawn sitting. Basically, that's a bad thing to go with the aircraft combat. But this guy has some balls, but I recommend for him that he should have been above a bit before engaging us. Now the KI-43 goes first, I go second, and we repeat that thing till the enemy 109 is destroyed. So he has the first shots in, I had the second in, he again goes for the first, I go for the second, and so on until the BF-109 gets his coolant leak and he has basically run off the options. Fire just a bit in front of him, pour him with my MG fire, and the credit goes for me. Yeah. So this is my Shadow Strike 5 kills in a reserve aircraft, basically working along the KI-43. We managed to tear down the whole enemy team. So, and now there is a AAA fight that I told you about from the base, and they managed to take out my cooling. It's bloody annoying if you ask me. So, final blow, mission accomplished. First guy on Terror of the Sky, Balancer, rank doesn't matter, and all these things, all the little medals, all the smooth and good things. But, if you're wondering how to use an enemy, let's say, if you wonder how to use an Peashooter, use it as an energy fighter, be above your enemies, or else you are an easy target. If you're using it properly and with the teamwork, you can get a lot of kills just like I just had in my game, and a lot of XP and credits for a reserve aircraft, you must say. So this was the Peashooter. Hope you liked this video. Hope I shed light on how to play the low tiers, and we still have a couple of things to go before we end up with reserves. Till then, until next video, I'll see you all, and have a good time. See ya.